Notre Dame fans, we have a new commitment to talk about on the hardwood. Blake Wesley, local prospect, South Bend Riley, has committed to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Rivals ranks him as the number 96 overall player in the country, number 22 shooting guard, 6'5", 180, four-star prospect. Patrick, tell us about this young man. How did this recruitment come together? This is a prospect that Notre Dame's been after for well over a year. So just tell us how this commitment came together for the Irish.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Notre Dame first offered him back in July of 2019, I think it was, after that debut of those NCAA college basketball academy camps that were pined by many for whatever they might be as far as effectiveness and how they would be as evaluation tactics and evaluation opportunities compared to those old AAU tournaments. And who knows? Obviously, they didn't happen this summer, but for Notre Dame, they were fruitful. They offered both of their commitments in the 2021 class after that camp, and those two guys, both from South Bend, the other being, of course, J.R. Kniexy from South Bend St. Joseph, has already signed. So from there, those were the two biggest, or among the biggest targets, and one came together pretty quickly in J.R. But
Right.
now here with Blake, a guy they've had on the radar for a while, like you said, did official visits to the in-state schools, Purdue and Indiana as the others as a junior. But ultimately, Notre Dame won this out over a final six of Notre Dame, Purdue, Creighton, Maryland, Xavier, and Kansas State. So really kind of a situation that, of course, like many 2021 players, was altered with the dead period and not being able to take any other visits. So, of course, some of those more national schools that came in there a little bit later, Blake didn't get to see. So ultimately, I think Notre Dame just being in there early and consistently from when it offered to now his commitment date and the local appeal and familiarity here were two of the things that really made Blake want to stay home and make Notre Dame win out in this recruitment.
We're going to talk about kind of the player he is on the hardwood. But first, what would you say is kind of the impact on Notre Dame basketball in terms of the second recruit in this class, the roster numbers? What would you say on that, Patrick?
Yeah, this was the guy they had really been targeting as the really only other fall signee for a few months now. And this, so just being able to go 2 for 2 in that regard is a big deal. Of all right, you're heading into the spring with the two guys you had targeted for a while locked up. And as far as position and what Wesley's coming into, it's going to be crowded, at least at first. I mean, you have a backcourt right now that's full of juniors who will be seniors in 2021, 22 when Wesley's a freshman, and now of course have an option to come back with the NCAA giving everybody an extra year. But you kind of look at, especially maybe, all right, if just assume for just the sake of the conversation here that nobody uses that extra year, or guys just want to go, or very few use that extra one. Looking at a chance for, as a sophomore, a lot of guys who are not there, theoretically, of course, we'll see what some of them do with that extra year. But looking at that as an opportunity for him really to impact. But as a freshman, still a unique skill set here that I think would have him in the mix for minutes despite that initially crowded backcourt.
You mentioned skill set. Let's talk about it a little bit. This video was Summer AAU or Indie Heat, I believe it is, and this is from our Purdue rival site. Patrick, you've been able to see him as well. Why don't you tell us the player that Notre Dame's getting?
So what he's really going to bring, and I think bring, and that would complement well Notre Dame's current backcourt, is athleticism and an ability to get by you and create off the dribble. That's the kind of the thing that I think would be his best ability, just to get on the court early and make an impact, is what he can do off the dribble, what he can do in transition, using the athleticism, high level athlete, and on defense really too. When you watch him play defense, tons of energy, multi positional defender, really stands out on that end too. So when you look at as far as what's unique to him or a thing that can really help him contribute right away, you look at some of those two areas. a solid shooter. I think that's something that's come along pretty well. But yeah, you look at the ability off the ball, on the ball. Sorry, as a kind of an off guard or two guard type of wing with good size and athleticism, and a guy who plays really aggressive and energetic defense.
Let's give Patrick, give me biggest strength you think he has, and then biggest weakness.
Yeah, the strength I'm going to go back to right again. The defensive effort, energy, athleticism there, and the ability to get you off the dribble and a willingness really to push in transition. So I kind of look at both of those as the things he does well. And weakness, I would probably say maybe some decision making, either as a passer or when he can get himself in trouble with some drives sometimes in the half court. Still kind of an area you want to see some improvement there. And I know one of the things that he's wanted to focus on was point guard skills and being able to play the one. I think he's more of a two or an off guard in college, mainly because of that decision making ability, where it's not like you're going to just give him your offense and give him the keys and say, all right, stick him in a ball screen or a pick and roll and have him create for others or pass out of there and whatnot. But overall, I think you like the still ability to say play the two or the three and certainly guard multiple positions.
So very nice commitment for Mike Brey and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Make sure to log in at blueandgold.com for all of your Notre Dame basketball recruiting coverage and everything going on with Brey's squad. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to help out our channel.